False start, 10-yard penalty, still first down. Yeah, Logan got that right. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. In first-person shooters and firearms type stuff, people talk about having an itchy trigger finger where you might pull the trigger when you don't want to. I did the computer version of that. I wasn't watching where my mouse was, and I kind of just bumped the mouse button and hit start stream when I was on the wrong scene earlier. Plus, it's probably good that I screwed that up and had to come back later, because when I was thinking a bit about what I wanted to talk about, I went and looked at Dailymotion, and I found out something big about Dailymotion. Dailymotion no longer has views. They already didn't have comments. They already were likes only, with just a heart button for people that liked the videos. There's no dislikes at all on Dailymotion. But the premier non-Chinese competitor to YouTube in the world, because China has their own YouTube service that isn't firewalled by the Great Firewall of China, the premier non-Chinese competitor to YouTube has now gotten so small that they don't that they don't show the views anymore. They're hiding views. There's no more view counters. And I think part of that might have to do with just how small they were getting. You could go to Dailymotion when they still had views, and the front page content on Dailymotion, well, it would only have like 2,000 views or something, 5,000 views. Nothing exciting in YouTube land. And so it's something to think about, especially with regards to the way YouTube treats creators. YouTube needs YouTubers. Full stop. You can't have a commercial answer to YouTube that only has commercial content, because it doesn't work. People will not engage with something like this unless they can get in on the action if they want to make a video. It's just Dailymotion over and over and over again. Is just showing why this is the case. YouTube is successful because of YouTubers, more so than the commercial stuff. Because whenever these platforms have tried to do commercial only, they've failed. Anyways, welcome to the stream that nobody's going to watch, because I didn't name drop Linus Tech Tips in the description. Plus, people might still be licking their wounds from yesterday. We're going to do the part 2 of the discussion about what happened to tech video people. To make a long story short, when it comes to the whole situation with Linus finding out the hard way just how much toxicity there is in the tech video world, he unearthed what I've seen on my channel for years, and what is the principal reason why I've backed away from tech videos as much as I have. So for those that want the TLDR version of this discussion, I'm only going to make tech videos when I actually have a tech project. And I'm not going to go out of my way to get a tech project. And it's not going to be the sort of thing that I really do unless I really want to do it. Simple. The format is legacy. It's going to stay the way that it is. Basically, it's going to stay the way that it was in 2015, most popular year anyways. But tech videos are only going to happen on this channel when I actually feel like making them. And that's only going to be when there's a project. I'm not going to go out of my way or buy extra computers or something just to have YouTube content, because, well, look at the results. Look at what happened yesterday. Matter of fact, let's ban someone right now. I talked about internet diarrhea yesterday. The minute I ban this guy, all this crap from yesterday's chat is going to disappear anyways. So this guy comes in, and he's like, and he illustrates very quickly literally everything that tech videos have done to this channel. He illustrates very quickly why I've made the choices that I've made in the last couple of years, even if it has cost me views, and even if, as we're seeing this month, it's dropping me down below the thresholds for partnership on YouTube by a couple watch hours a month. So it's dropping me down below the thresholds for so this channel is probably going to get departnered sometime in the next year or two. And at the very same time, this whole situation has gotten so bad that I really don't care. Because everybody who has been toxic to me is going to get everything they don't want. You don't want mid-rolls? You're going to have no choice but to sit through mid-rolls. I've been giving an ad-free experience on here where you only get pop-ups and side ads, no video ads. That's going to go away too. So everything you don't want from this channel, you're going to get because of the lack of support. I hope you're happy. Anyways, this guy comes in and he immediately just starts, I called it internet diarrhea. That's a internet version of verbal diarrhea. Verbal diarrhea would be like when you run your mouth too much and you end up, if you have a conscience, you end up regretting what you said and you end up with your foot in your mouth. This guy didn't do that. This guy just fired away and just made himself look like a complete ignoramus. I was on here to talk about tech video people and all the problems that it has caused for this channel. And I'm like, where have we gone wrong? Where's the solidarity among tech people, especially as the rest of the world is treating tech people so badly? And he comes in here, and he's like, oh, the microphone quality. Yeah, I've been using this for literally every stream for the last year and a half, and every video that I've made using streaming gear for the last year and a half. Yeah, I've done that. This has been this Yeti Nano has been a thing for a very long time now. But like I said, there's a problem with toxic people who pretend I don't exist if I'm not making the teeny tiny subset of videos that they demand I make. That's not the YouTube that I joined. I joined a YouTube where you could be yourself and get views. It's not that way nowadays. And Susan Wojcicki and the brass need to realize that. Because, like we mentioned when we started the stream, if YouTubers no longer matter and it's all about commercial crap and movie rentals and things along those lines, that's you know, that takes away what makes YouTube special. We're living in a day and age where big rights holders are making their own content delivery networks. They don't need YouTube. When people get big enough, or orgs get big enough, they can bypass YouTube completely. And I'm not just talking about the movie industry either. Motor Trend, who used to host automotive shows like Roadkill, one of my favorites on YouTube in terms of show formats and episodic shows that were done on YouTube in the past several years. Roadkill was a Motor Trend show. Motor Trend started their own CDN. And we're not talking like Paramount or anything. We're talking Motor Trend was able to do this. And they pulled their stuff from YouTube, except for teasers and stuff, to bounce them over to a $5 a month plus service for Motor Trend, which now has its own app. It's not just something you'd watch in a web browser. It has a mobile app like everything else that's going anywhere in this online media world. So it doesn't just need to be CBS, ABC, NBC, Paramount, Viacom. It doesn't need to be the traditional media giants that do this. And I'll just call it out right now. We are waiting as a platform for large YouTubers, take somebody Mr. Beast size or something, to finally have had enough with the way YouTube treats people that they form their own CDN. There was an attempt at this with what happened with Blip TV and Maker Studios buying it out years ago, but that was a different climate. Today, there is so much omni-media around every corner. There's so much omni-media around every corner that we're just waiting for some big creators to give YouTube the middle finger and start their own platform. Linus has something like this with Floatplane, but I think there will be more of that because we live in a day and age where YouTube is now a platform you can grow out of. When you get sick of the automated systems striking your videos for no reason, or the stuff that that would be a good idea if it worked, but doesn't, so it's terrible. When you get sick of the lack of a human face on YouTube, when you get sick of the corporate crap, when you get sick of everything that has poisoned this platform for years now, when you get big enough, you can graduate out of it. Just like if you're a Twitch streamer, you can work your way up to where you have enough concurrence that you're basically as big as you're going to get on Twitch. And it's worth it to either go to YouTube or negotiate the ability to double stream. So you can grow, so you can be on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Pokimane tomorrow on February 8th is supposed to announce where she's going next. My predictions was either she would go to YouTube or she would double stream because she was a big enough streamer that Twitch wouldn't want to lose her if she, so they'd cave and they'd let her stream on both. That way she could have followings and presences on both at the same time. Big different features and whatnot, but there are multi-platform orgs like the Young Turks and some other folks who started out on YouTube and now they stream little of everywhere, including Linus Media, by the way. Linus Tech Tips has a Twitch channel. Linus has a Twitch channel, and there's some shows that he double streams on the various platforms. But look, see, the concurrents are going nowhere because I didn't name drop Linus in the description. Bada bing. So that's why, I'm just going to do all this administrative stuff behind the scenes in this stream. But the bottom line is, YouTube needs YouTubers. Full stop. Otherwise, you end up like Dailymotion. So here's the story with Dailymotion. I have a Dailymotion channel as a secondary video channel from years ago when YouTube was ticking me off like they've done on a regular basis every couple of years. But because YouTube has its ups and downs like any other platform, my Dailymotion channel has traditionally held things that were problematic on YouTube. Like when Nintendo, for example, was going around content IDing everybody. I moved my Nintendo stuff over onto Dailymotion. There were some, like for example, my Wii U first impressions from Wacky World of MultimediaJay Season 1 went to Dailymotion for a couple of years until Nintendo stopped being so boomer in terms of how they do their stuff. But at the time, other than Youku, the Chinese answer to YouTube, or whatever it's called nowadays, at the time, other than the Chinese government-friendly answer to YouTube that isn't firewalled in China, Dailymotion was the principal competitor of YouTube. And there was kind of a 10-to-1 rule. One view on Dailymotion was the equivalent of 10 views on YouTube. There's kind of a 10-1 difference between the two platforms because of the sheer difference in the traffic. Dailymotion would have millions of somethings of hits per month. YouTube would have billions. So, 1 decimal point. But we've seen over the years with Dailymotion, since Vivendi bought them out, when Vivendi bought Dailymotion, they made a massive change to the platform that basically isolated and walled off independent content creators. There was 2 kinds of content on Dailymotion when Dailymotion was purchased, when it was bought out a couple of years ago, or whenever it was now, probably closer to many years ago now. There was commercial stuff, there was commercial content, and then there was UGC, user-generated stuff. And the UGC was given walled garden treatment. So it was completely separate, and the algorithms would only promote the commercial stuff. Logan, I say the new Dailymotion alternative is probably Odyssey, looks promising. Well, there have been plenty of would-be YouTube competitors that have come and gone in the past 5 years, and they've all gone broke. So that's kind of the thing. Livevideo.com went bankrupt. Vidme went bankrupt. Other stuff, Blog TV, other stuff like that. There's usually a big money, there's a big money side to running a CDN. You don't want to, lip balm season, finally found it. You don't want a situation like what you have over on Vimeo, where it's like buying internet storage space and you'll run up a bandwidth bill if one of your videos goes viral. That's one of the key differences between YouTube and some of its competitors. But I want to see a competitor to YouTube with some staying power. BitChute was another one too. Every time I go over to BitChute, I see that they're not making their goals for financial support. So I'm like, should I even bother with anything over there? Because every time I've gone over there, they've had some kind of donation goal thing. And they're like, we can't continue to da-da-da-da-da and stuff along those lines. So I've gone over there, but it's never looked viable. It never looked viable, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're the next YouTube competitor to go broke. So the steadiest player is Dailymotion, or should I say, the steadiest sinker is Dailymotion. So, number 1, likes only. They only have a heart button. Their slogan is, the website for videos that matter. Yeah, but they only get... that's one of the reasons why I was looking up this article on top YouTube alternatives between when I screwed up and when I actually went live. Dailymotion is the closest next best thing to YouTube, because the closest video sharing site that even compares to it, still, at the time of writing, Dailymotion gets 112 million visits per month. Okay, that probably makes it smaller than Twitch. So, let's see, Twitch. Let me see, Twitch visits per month. So you would actually be better off using, yeah, Twitch has 140 million unique monthly visitors. So Dailymotion is smaller than Twitch. You're better off getting Twitch affiliate, which is really easy to get. Concurrence, get 50 people to follow you. You're better off getting Twitch affiliate and then just uploading videos to Twitch. than uploading videos to Dailymotion at this point, because while the 140 million unique monthly visitors on Twitch, and when was this from? Twitch usage and growth statistics. I'm looking at some marketing statistics here. While the 140 million visitors to Twitch is unique, the 112 million Dailymotion visits is not tagged as being unique. So the only way Dailymotion has an audience of 112 million people is if everybody who uses Dailymotion only watches one video per month. I don't think that's how it works. Imagine if YouTube ran like that. You got like 1,000 subscribers and you got to hope that your video is like one video per month that everybody watches. That's not an active ecosystem for making videos. Undoubtedly, Dailymotion's actual user base is probably way lower than the 112 million. Way lower. And they've been shrinking big time. So first off, they're likes only. They got rid of the comments on videos, so there's no more comments on Dailymotion videos. And now there's no more views. I double checked this on my phone too to make sure it wasn't a browser glitch. But why wouldn't they get rid of the views over on Twitch? Why wouldn't they over on Dailymotion? Why would they get rid of the views over on Dailymotion? Well, excuse me, why wouldn't they, when you have front page content only getting like 2,000 or 5,000 views? So big top CNN story on Dailymotion, 5,000 views. And I noted this back when President Trump was still in office. All the controversy that Donald Trump caused when he was president of the United States and stuff like that. And the Dailymotion about the latest way he was ticking people off. Like 1,000 views. I looked up hot topics that people were screeching about on the internet, and the view counts were horrible. Horrible. So when I first started my Dailymotion channel, Dailymotion was the decimal point rule. Drop a decimal point, that's what your view, or add a decimal point, that's what the equivalent of your views are. 12 views on Dailymotion was the equivalent of 120 views on YouTube. I don't think that that's the case anymore. I think Dailymotion is way smaller. They're smaller than Twitch. They're still there. They function like YouTube, and they even have a monetization program. But where is the traffic that's going to Dailymotion that would drive any of that? Where? So that's the stern warning that YouTube needs its YouTubers. At the bottom of the spectrum, we have a platform trying to be the commercial answer to YouTube, commercial only answer to YouTube, sinking so low that they're now hiding the view counts on front page content. They're hiding the view counts on all their videos. I went looking at mine. My video counts are gone. My view counts are gone. So even when I log in as a creator, I can't see how many people are watching my video. Makes me wonder how monetization works. Do I have to go into whatever their equivalent is of an analytics studio to find out if anybody's watching any of my stuff on Dailymotion? How does that even work? So yeah, they can't go full commercial because they'll end up like Dailymotion. At the very same time, they also can't go full commercial because the biggest content creators, the organizations, etc., mainstream media or movie studios or whatever, are going to start their own network if they don't like YouTube's rules or whatever. So the biggest creators can leave the platform to form their own platform. And it doesn't even need to be the biggest anymore. Amazon, if you're rich enough, this is probably the wildest of the wild predictions I can make about Pokimane, is that she would be trying to basically pull a Linus and make a float plane or something. Then maybe she would invest some of her millions into buying the service that Amazon offers. It basically gives you the baseline of Twitch's technology. You can actually buy the bare bones of the fundamentals of Twitch. You can actually buy the base technology of Twitch from Amazon Web Services and actually run your own streaming platform. Wouldn't be surprised if she got in on that. That's probably I don't think she'll do it, but that's probably the wildest thing that she could be announcing. So, bottom line, YouTube needs to have a sense of community. There needs to be YouTubers. There is no corporating the heck out of YouTube because every platform that's trying to do that is not doing very well, including YouTube itself. Look at all the YouTubers that are upset about the views dropping, even on their bigger channels. Look at the tech YouTubers who are getting snubbed by their audience because people don't want to be reminded of stuff that they can't buy. And so they're like, I might have to get a job again because everything's dropping. And look at the uproar among people in the partner program because YouTube has diluted people's ad revenue through their right to monetize. So now they can slap ads on videos that aren't even partnered. So you sell the same amount of ads, but now you have more videos you can show them on, and YouTube gets 100% of the ad revenue when someone's not in the partner program and ads get slapped on their video. It's like being permanently content ID'd by YouTube until you become a partner. Think about it. You know how annoying it is if you have like 2 seconds of a song and a record company takes all your ad revenue? Which, by the way, the most recent ad split I heard from Fwiz before he left was 55-45 in favor of the creator. So when Content ID results in an 8-hour stream getting claimed by a record company and they take all your ad revenue, that's, that's basically the equivalent of what you go through now when you're not a YouTube partner. Your videos get ads placed on them because of the rights to monetize if they're ad friendly, and YouTube gets all of the money. That's the experience if you're not in the partner program. That partner program that is gated as much as it is because a couple of years ago, they let everyone be partners and the ad revenue dropped too low. So they gated it. Partners started making more money, and then they decided to do right to monetize, which crashed the ad revenue again. But no, there's 10 ways to make money on YouTube nowadays, so if you're big enough and can command enough of like subs and donos, the equivalent of the Twitch monetization, you can have memberships and supers and the whole 9 yards. But I tell you right now, if everybody and their mother's uncle wants $5 a month from me, it's cable all over again. And I guarantee you there's people that are just going to be like, forget it. Now, never mind YouTube Premium or any of that other stuff. Guarantee you there's going to be people that do that sort of stuff. Anyways, let's deal with this guy. So I'm in the midst of all of this trouble. I'm in the midst of this nonsense. The channel's on its way to getting departnered at the rate it's going, because I have a toxic, unsupportive audience that vanishes if I don't make literally the same videos over and over again. But if I cater to them, if I cater to these toxic people and I make literally the same videos over and over again, I can get in trouble with YouTube for reused content or video spam, because one of the violations of the spam policy is to make YouTube videos that are hard to distinguish from each other. That can get me terminated on the spot. So this is why I talked about behavior yesterday. It boils down to how people treat each other. It's insane, though, how people just don't want to acknowledge that. And then they wonder why YouTube keeps getting worse and worse. Everything sucks on YouTube. I can't find anything to watch. Well, that good person that used to enjoy watching, how'd you treat them? If YouTube can't forget the personal people side of YouTube, we can't either. Because that's one of the things that Twitch is using right now to grow. Twitch has a sense of community that makes people want to be streamers on Twitch, even because they're sick of YouTube's systems all over the place. All right, let's start running here. Twitch is gaining off of YouTube's mistakes. And I'll tell you right now, the YouTube of today is not the YouTube I joined in 2006. It's not the YouTube where most of the people tuning in are going to be like friendly in the comments. Of course, there'll always be haters and whatnot, but there's this more personal community side to YouTube with spammers and trolls off to the side somewhere, and you just kind of blow them off and block them or something like that. But there was far more constructive everything on YouTube back then than there is today, including with tech videos. That's what Linus unearthed. When Linus accused people using ad blockers, by the way, when you use an ad blocker, you literally hurt the creator more than the platform, because the ad revenue split is in favor of the creator. So you are damaging the creator more than you're damaging YouTube. When is Linus going to talk about this little technical detail? Again, parochial technicians into one form of technology but not into another. Why didn't Linus bring this up on his WAN show? Does he even pay attention to these details? But so here's a guy. He comes in and he's completely naive to literally everything else that I do. Proof that he doesn't watch. Proof that he doesn't support what I do. All he cares about is the Delosaurus. Then he brags about using an ad blocker, which is something I talked about years ago, 2017. I'm done with this guy. Let's see. Hide user on this channel. That'll get rid of his messages from the chat replay from yesterday. Let me go over to his channel, refresh, see if he's listed as blocked. If you block someone in the chat, yeah, if you block someone in the chat, you block someone on the other stuff as well. But it's just, this is literally yesterday's stream was literally a microcosm of everything wrong with the tech scene on YouTube right now. There's just too many people that are just narcissistic and don't care. So why even be involved? Why do this stuff? The only reason to make tech videos is because you actually want to. So if you don't want to, there goes that. And we end up with a world where the Linuses of the world represent basically everything that tech has sunk to. Every one of your videos is going to be some glitzy, overproduced, SOP following, algorithm ass kissing video with in-video advertising and whatever you want to call it. We don't see people that are different like the Druagas and the Green Hams and the others. Although I'll tell you, my favorite tech channel, I don't need any of the big tech people. I don't need any of the big tech YouTubers that I stopped watching because of the whole dislikes thing. There are mellow, professional tech channels like Toasty Bros and Testing Games that keep it simple and keep it focused. They don't go chasing clout. They don't do all this other stuff. They don't do it. What? YouTube? What the hell? All right, so YouTube gaming is like stumbling upon an amazing video and finding out it's part of a series. I'm like, that's what I usually go for. They smirk at me and say, smart thinking. YouTube, that's how your platform, that's how you do something besides chase trends. That's how you do something besides chase trends, YouTube. If you don't want to be the next BuzzFeed or something, you got to give people something to binge watch. Netflix has been a thing for years. Yeah. Twitter.com, YouTube Gaming responded to me. Why they're getting sarcastic with my interest in telling stories through series is beyond me. But anyways, all right, so the rest of this can come down to chat, but there's no things, talking to chat about things that they're bringing up. But other than Logan, there's nothing. So shows the difference, right? And this all started in the middle of the last stream when I said, okay, here's the part where everybody leaves when I start telling the hard truths about everything. And now here we are. And then, of course, the channel now is not bringing enough watch hours to stay partnered. It's going to dip below 4,000 if this happens all year. Of course, I will do some tech videos here and there when I want to actually make them. But this is the reason why I'm getting into other stuff. Now, let me just leave nothing to speculation. I don't like my audience. There's a couple of good people, most of whom have been supportive in the chat and on other social medias. Those people are awesome. The rest, though, there are people that are neutral. They're just going to watch, in which case the easiest way to support anybody who does this stuff is to just watch their videos. Give them watch time, show that there's any interest and they're not in what they do and they're not wasting their time. It's one of the reasons why the Daily Motion thing is going to fail, because you have no way of knowing if anybody's watching your stuff now when you put stuff on Daily Motion. There's no more view counters. So unless it's just some bug and it's going to come back later, I don't know. But I don't see this working out for Daily Motion. They're just going to get smaller and smaller because you have no pulse on whether you're wasting your time on that platform or not now. You can't even see if anybody's watching your videos. And there's no more comments. The only thing that matters is whether people like your video now. That's the only way you know that a human being, and even then, you can bot those. So Daily Motion has become the platform that is just there. And they're not interesting, they're not exciting, and there's certainly not going to be any kind of YouTube competitor at all with the numbers they can still pull in, just because of the bad decisions they've made over the past couple of years. But yeah, so the toxic part of my audience is what's killing a lot of my interest in a lot of this crap. And I about had enough of them. So here's what I'm going to do. If I do a computer project and people come in and they act like I stopped existing when I wasn't doing tech videos, banned. Simple enough. Just done with it. Yesterday I talked about the whole big audience versus good audience thing. And I'll tell you, I'm not leaving anything to speculation. I want a good audience more than a big audience. Because this is in play with groups of streamers and other YouTubers that I keep an eye on. There are people with a bigger audience who are getting harassed that should have just went with a better audience. I mentioned yesterday, you have people that like you, people that are just watching, and people that hate you. You'll have the biggest audience if you keep your haters at a certain distance, as opposed to driving them away completely. I think I'd rather have the smaller audience. Simple enough. If someone wants to be abusive to others, they shouldn't be taking it out on randos on the internet, then especially on my channel. So that's the thing. And that's why I'm getting into other stuff. That's why I'm doing stuff like game stream with ESO, going over to Twitch, trying to get involved in some Discords. Because you know what? That old fun song. You know, sometimes I wish that this all would end because I could use some friends for a change. Because right now I don't have that, except for a couple of good folks that are the result of decades now of tech videos. There's the result. Not a large, vibrant community, just a few good people. So, hey, we'll take that as a consolation prize for all this tech stuff and move on to other stuff that's more algorithm friendly. Because what I don't want a situation where I feel like I'm stuck playing like metadata games and making crazy thumbnails in order to get viewers on YouTube. It's just the thing is, the Creator Academy literature points you in that very direction of trying to get people to click on your videos with your thumbnails, but YouTube also strikes and terms people who go overboard with the thumbnails. So, talking out of both sides of their mouth as administration, they can't give a straight answer, and this lack of a personal side to what it is that YouTube's doing, this robot Borg, whatever you want to call it, is one of the reasons why Twitch is thriving, because Twitch has more of a human face to what they do. When people say Twitch is screwing something up, they're probably saying bad things about people in charge of Twitch. When people say YouTube is screwing something up, they're probably saying something about a computer system. That's the difference between the platforms. And this also boils down to the whole situation with what thrives from a live streaming perspective on these platforms. Being a personality is more worth it on Twitch, while YouTube is better off for events and stuff that you're doing in addition to what you're doing on your channel. But right now, what do I have? I have a bunch of people who are going to destroy this channel and departner it by being jackasses. Why should I cater to them? This is why I've shown up in Discords and joined ESO communities and emphasized ESO. This is also why I'm going to get away from the wacky world of MultimediaJay and make more algorithm-friendly, bite-sized videos that are more similar to other YouTube videos on there, where I chime in on stuff that I want to chime in on. And it may not even have any kind of branding to it. It's just going to be, boom, MultimediaJay, go. Because what I have right now just plain isn't good enough. Simple. This is the results of all. This is the result. I mean, the tech videos were the first time I actually tried to make a consistent series on this channel instead of just calling it the MultimediaJay vlog. And here's the results. And it makes me wonder, I'm saying the quiet part out loud here. The bigger tech channels on YouTube, are they thinking this too? But they just don't want to say anything because they're scared of losing their audience? What happened to tech video people? Why can't we treat each other with respect? Why can't we acknowledge that everybody is who they are? Not everybody's going to be 100% like you. They're not going to like the same processors you do. They're not going to like the same RAM that you do. They're not going to like the same cases that you do. I hate building computers with lots of RGB lighting. I think it's superfluous. And I don't want something glaring off to the side when I'm trying to focus on a game. So no, I'm not going to have one of those gaming PCs that are basically terrariums with 3 lit up fans in the front, no drives, and I'm like, this graphics card has coil whine because my case isn't really a case. It's mesh. It's an airflow case, aka it's not really a case. A cat could pee on it to mark their territory and short out the motherboard. I'm not getting something like that. God. What happened to tech video people over the last couple of years? There used to be a lot of memeing and jokes in the comments, and now it's dead silence, or some spammers, or somebody picking apart some detail they disagree with you on. Is YouTube really the problem here, or are we the problem with how we treat each other? What happened? So, Tuxedo's sitting back there. It's supposed to be a Windows 7 retro system. I think I'd rather do some other stuff first. I don't know how long it's going to be sitting there. Maybe the whole thing will die and it won't turn on when I finally get around to doing some stuff with it, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that's run into this. I'm sure there's other people that have noticed it, but they haven't called it out. But I can tell you now, people want to call me a sellout because I monetized the channel in 2016. If I want money, I'm going to shut all this down. And I'm going to go get a tech job in the city. Eat a commute, get more hours. I mean, right now I'm in a situation where I can have the flexibility to do something like this. And here's the results. Then there's the streamer communities that I've joined. And I think one of my themes for the multimedia meta for 2022, which thanks to the people, by the way, who are watching those videos, it's great to see activity somewhere besides tech videos on this channel. Finally! Got to double down on that a little more. But the whole parasocial thing where streamers get to blow you off because they take your viewership for granted, I think that needs to be called out too. I wonder how many other people out there are sick of feeling like they've been led on by someone who's friendly and personable, and they're like, you're in my community, and then they blow you off if you actually try to act like you're part of a community. I think there's a show I gotta watch, Parasocial, that some Twitch streamers are doing. I think they're making fun of this as they sit there and coast and do whatever they want because they have thousands of concurrents no matter what they do on stream because of their own inertia. Holy crap. Anyways, at only at 41 minutes live time. We're at only 41 minutes live time. And I don't want this to be anything dominant on my channel. It's not going to get the #1 parking spot on Twitter or anything. But let me just say, with regards to this, we got to take a look in the mirror how we treat each other as tech people, and also as people on YouTube as well. Old school YouTube had way more of a personal face to it. There were way more personal insults too, stuff back then. But I kind of miss it. Even the nasty stuff. Because at least I knew it was people and not like folks acting like robots and not caring. Now, at least I knew that if I did something, it wouldn't get like I love you spammers in the comments. Which are robots anyways. And you're like, Jay, just get out of that funky bad mood and stuff and just be happy. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to engage in tyrannical positivity where I must wear a plastic smile all the time. And that's what causes Facebook depression, because people are like, they think that someone else's life is better than theirs and stuff like that. When the truth of the matter is everybody who's human and, has a heartbeat and everything has problems, plain and simple. So what the hell is this? Love you, Jay. No, Jay, I'm real. That song was like a J-Lo song 20 years ago. Get some newer music. Of course, this is the kind of memeing. This is the kind of memeing that used to be a thing on this channel before everyone started to become a bunch of squares. It's like, oh, you don't use Noctua fans. You suck. Oh, you use an Intel processor. Don't you know what Ryzen is? Like, things we make such a big deal out of. Anyways, I don't want this stuff to be in the #1 parking spot. So here's what's next. We've had a bunch of ice crap here for the last couple of days. And today, finally, for the first time in like 4 or 5 days, the temperature went above freezing. So all the ice crap that was rinking anywhere that wasn't salted to death is finally meltable and shovelable. So it's slush now. Go out and shovel it, chop the ice with a shovel with a metal thing on the end, and finish it up. So everything basically thaws out tomorrow. So I'm going to pick up all the constructive stuff that I wanted to do. But I'll say this. The Wacky World of MultimediaJay is a legacy series. It is what it is. I'm not going to be too wild with the format, and I'll only make that when I actually feel like making it. Which means something has to be going on that justifies that format, because you just look at what it's done. Look at the crap that is attracted to this channel. There's some nice people that have come along as a result of that, and I'm thankful for them. But it's like if somebody took a whole bunch of like diamonds or something and buried it in a bunch of cow crap and then shoveled it over your head and been like, find the diamonds, dumbass. Now, how much crap are you willing to sift through to find the cool people and whatnot? So fundamentally, I think things could be a lot different on here, but I don't know. I think I'm doing too much saying the quiet part out loud, and I should basically, I think I'm doing too much saying the quiet part out loud, and I should just make changes quietly based on numbers and other stuff and not really say anything anymore. So, hey, are we getting disliked yet? Let me see here. This is one bozo that keeps coming in and disliking my streams in waves, and I've noticed that it's only my streams in waves that are getting disliked like this. Let's see, is Captain Boredom still making their rounds? No, not yet. It'll happen later when they get back to their computer or whatever, or pop it in on their phone. Also worth noting, this stream got demonetized instantly while the song was playing before I even said anything. So there's your YouTube robot crap for you right off the bat. This is like, why? I mean, YouTube has some noble ideas, but the execution is just terrible. So long as this continues, I don't think that YouTube is going to I don't know if YouTube is going to ever be a viable Twitch competitor, because people notice this stuff. And then on Twitter, we see the streamers that raise a big stink about automated crap, false flagging their videos and stuff. Like, this needs to stop. And YouTube needs to actually be willing to, number one, hire people instead of using the pandemic as an excuse to run with skeleton crew staff and do too much with automated systems. YouTube needs to, number one, hire people, get people involved, and put a human face back on what it is they do instead of continuing to coast like this. So, if it weren't for the fact that I don't want this in the number one parking spot on my channel for any longer than necessary, because it's kind of just me venting, I would actually stream a game stream tonight on Twitch. No, seriously. Got a couple ideas for the Twitch channel finally. It'll be very restricted compared to what I do on YouTube, because fundamentally, most of what I do on Twitch is better off done on YouTube. But we got some ESO things to do tonight. That'll put that in the number one parking spot, and then we'll pick things up when everything melts tomorrow. Including what we want to do on the vacation besides sit here playing video games all week. It'd be better if I did some physical stuff or lifted some weights or cleaned up around the house or something like that. Or got to all the stuff on the to-do list that's been sitting around. Because the 9-to-5ers, here's what happened in autumn of 2021, by the way, for those of you who are curious. The 9-to-5ers in autumn of 2021 decided to not try to staff up and then see if the volume dropped off for Christmas because of all the problems we've been having with getting good people to come through the door. We rarely, if ever, get anybody with a decent work ethic there anymore. So at a time of the year when we normally have lots of nights where you're out like close to lunchtime and stuff and have plenty of extra time for projects around the house or side hustles or YouTube or DoorDash or something like that, we didn't have that. We were there constantly till like 11 o'clock at night or midnight or something. And the shift ends at 1. So we got more hours, we made more money, but we had less of the problem is, if I want to work one of these warehouse jobs and make more money, I should go to one of the bigger companies that pay more. The flexibility is the one thing these people have. So if I go back from this vacation next week and it isn't dull as dirt over there, then I really have to rethink what I want to do. Matter of fact, also, if I want to cater to PCNA, I'm talking ESO language here. If I want to cater to a North American audience, that means don't stream in the middle of the night, knucklehead. But middle of the night is the best time to work on videos. So if I want more abilities to stream in the evening hours US and stuff like that, then I'd have to go back to day shift and start actually getting up in the morning again. So I have a lot of things I got to figure out, especially with the Omicron variants and the COVID pandemic starting to die down. There's BA2 floating around out there, but the Omicron basically is on its way out finally here in New England. So the question is, when things warm up and if we don't get some variant that pops up that goes around and makes the rounds like Omicron did last Christmas, do I want to look at maybe looking for more tech opportunities and doing what I wanted to do 2 years Woo! ISP lag. Oh, yeah. Glad I spotted that. Let's recap. So with Omicron on the way out, I also have to rethink what it is that I want to do and whether I want to do the stuff I wanted to do 2 years ago before all this pandemic crap happened, when I was like the new roaring 20s. And I came into the decade wanting to make the 2020s better than the 2010s, because let's face it, 2010s sucked. Now, we had the layoff period, we have the doldrums, other stuff. I've since come roaring back with these 9-to-5ers and proven that I can be a pretty valuable person to have on the team. But I don't really think they appreciate that. There's a lot of deadpanning going on whenever I do something good. So we just got to figure out, we'll start tomorrow when everything thaws out with catching up on the stuff I wanted to do over the first part of the vacation. But I think we're turning the corner on this to a point where things are going to be quiet enough where I'm at that I can actually work on stuff this year. So I can work on tech projects, game streams, and better yet, I also want to have more mainstream videos that are shorter, maybe like 5 minutes, talking about a specific topic to feed the algorithm. Because Matt Koval, the YouTube liaison, put me on the spot. Earlier on, I talked about how this guy doesn't go to the mat whenever I challenge him, and this he finally did after I streamed that. And he basically put me in a position like, hey, you can't complain about the algorithm unless you're actually making stuff that the algorithm should be passing around, and it's not passing it around. So, plus, I can imagine this channel is probably too niche, even for tech people of a certain persuasion, if I'm not, doing basic discussions and things like that. Plus, there's an entire scene out there with people using streaming equipment to make YouTube videos. So if people are going to get mad at me because I started streaming and mass abandon the channel, I'll just make videos that appeal to the people that watch videos from folks like Tech Yes City and stuff like that. And basically make them into like micro streams or something. Although if I call them micro streams, there's somebody like Alfred out there who's going to be like, you might want to see a doctor. Whatever. So anyways, we're going to play some ESO. I don't get a lot of chances to stream in the evening, so we're gonna just gotta get a thumbnail together, stream some ESO, and then figure out what we're gonna do tomorrow when everything thaws out. So for the folks that put up with the rant, well, thanks for having a little bit of a thick skin to it. But the truth of the matter is that this all boils down to how we treat each other on here. It's like somewhere along the line, we let YouTube dictate the way we behave towards each other. And we made the dumb assumption that just because YouTube has dehumanized YouTube and turned it into a corporate wasteland, that we automatically need to follow suit. And then Twitch benefits from the stuff that YouTube used to do. But there actually have been people lamenting that Twitch doesn't seem to be doing that much anymore, and that it's losing its personal side as well. So you have too many fragmented, segmented communities as opposed to this overall feeling of Twitch culture. Just read that yesterday, that there's some people that think that that's going on over there in Purple Land. By the way, another chat stream topic that I think I'd like to talk about is if Streamlabs ever gets that Q4 report out for Streamlabs, Stream Hatchet, and stuff. I'm actually curious, post-Streamlabs scandal, if any of those numbers still look usable. But the truth of the matter is, for the people that are the reason why I've been ranting, I want this channel to not be interesting to them. And I just got to figure out how to do that. Because I definitely want a better audience on here. Let's pull no punches on this stuff. What the current status quo is rubbish. There's some good people in the audience, and there's some cool people that are just mellow and chill and just watching stuff. I want to get rid of the toxicity. So if I have to choose between a big audience and a good audience, I'm going to take the good audience, even if it gets me departnered. Anyways, time to shut up and get to work on this stuff. After some ESO, of course. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.